A while ago, there was a hotly debated topic in the land of DeFi that started to turn heads and even got me interested. In fact, this topic was so widely debated that some people loved it, some people hated it, and some people were just confused as to why it could be so dangerous. This, of course, is the Migrator Code. Now, I had to do some digging myself, and through my research, I found that in the month of June 2021, every single yield farm that had a Migrator Code ended up rugging. What? Projects like PooSwap, BengalSwap, and DinoSwap ended up stealing users' funds just because they had the Migrator Code. Yet some people were still in favor of having it in the farm. Now, here at RugDoc, we already covered a video on what is the Migrator Code and why it's so dangerous. But I wanted to take a little bit of a deeper dive and answer the questions: where exactly did the Migrator Code come from? Why so many farms insist on having the Migrator Code? And perhaps even more importantly, is there any reason to have the Migrator Code at all? So in this video, join me on this journey as we take a look at the Migrator Code. So just a little recap for those of you that don't know, a Migrator Code is a function in a yield farm's MasterChef contract that allows the owner of the contract, which is usually a timelock or even a developer's address, to move all the funds from that contract to any other address. Now, this results in the total loss of funds if the owner of the contract moves the funds into his or her own private wallet. Even Binance came out and explicitly stated that the Migrator Code can be used to steal funds in malicious contracts. Now let's take a little bit of a look into the origins of the Migrator Code. Now, if you're like most people, you might actually think that the Migrator Code comes from PancakeSwap, as it is the biggest and most popular Binance Smart Chain yield farm and where most people have heard of the Migrator Code. However, it actually all started earlier than that on the Ethereum network. The Migrator Code was actually used in this little farm called SushiSwap, now renamed Sushi. As you can see in this CoinDesk article, SushiSwap will withdraw up to $830 million from Uniswap today. That was back in September 9th of 2020. PancakeSwap also added on the Migrator Code, as you can see on line 179 of their MasterChef contract. So now comes the question, why do so many farms have the Migrator Code? Well, take a look into yield farms and you'll see that many farms actually look kind of the same. That's because they forked from the granddaddy of them all, PancakeSwap. And since many other farms forked PancakeSwap or copied their code, they also included PancakeSwap's Migrator Code in the MasterChef contract as well. So if the Migrator Code is so common, this brings us to the next question. Why remove the Migrator Code? Well, if you were a yield farmer earlier in the year, you might have remembered Goose Finance. They actually came out with this Medium article, which they claimed they were the first to remove the rug pull Migrator Code. They did this because after a farm called Popcorn Swap drained over $2 million, they wanted to be the first one to claim to be a safe haven away from sketchy rug pulls. They even said that evil devs like Popcorn Swap use this directly forked from Pancake excuse to dodge due diligence checks. Now, of course, this Medium article gained a lot of attention with 339 claps and a lot of people actually being aware of the Migrator Code for the very first time. Now, after that, it became the gold standard to remove the Migrator Code. After all, why would a user willingly stake their funds in a farm if it had potential to rug every single BUSD in the farm? And that also begs the question, why would a yield farm even include the Migrator Code when it could simply be removed by hitting the backspace a couple times in the smart contract? So this brings me to the golden question. Is there any reason at all to have a Migrator Code? Now, according to this Reddit post by N0Tart asking, does PancakeSwap have a backdoor? This user actually asked one of the developers of PancakeSwap named Chef Fungus. Now, according to Chef Fungus, he said it allows the protocol to upgrade in the future. If a protocol wants to innovate and build, then it does require the Migrator Code. We plan to upgrade our contracts, therefore it's necessary. Now this comes from the chef of PancakeSwap himself. But is actually the Migrator Code really necessary even for PancakeSwap? You see, when PancakeSwap actually upgraded their contracts from V1 to V2, the Migrator Code was in fact not used. In fact, on their website, it actually said for all users to unstake their liquidity pool tokens and restake them into the V2 contracts. Hence, no Migrator code was needed at all. So why did the Pancake developers tell their users to unstake and restake their tokens when they could have used the Migrator code all along? Well, you see, PancakeSwap even had this Medium article titled The Great Migration Vote. And in their article, there's a little section called Why Not Just Call the Migration Function? Their response was, that was the initial plan from day one and the reason we left the migration function in the code itself. But we're now at the point where a large number of projects are using PancakeSwap LP tokens in their protocols, and as such, calling the migration function would be very destructive and likely damage the overall BSC ecosystem. So we opted for a slow, safer way in coordination with many of the projects that utilizing PancakeSwap LP tokens. So in the end, PancakeSwap didn't even need the migrator function at all. The safer alternative, they said, is to simply have their users unstake their funds and restake them in the new contract. That's exactly what PancakeSwap did, and exactly the best solution for users for their safety. So yes, while some developers may claim that it might be helpful in the future to migrate to a new, smarter, more upgraded contract, even PancakeSwap themselves did not even use the Migrator code function. So you have to ask yourself, if this big project, the most popular farm, did not even use it and even said that it's more safe for having users unstake and restake their own LP tokens, then why would any smaller yield farm or new yield farm have it in the first place? You might also be thinking, what about a time lock? Does that help with not having your funds rug pulled even if there is a migrator code? Well, unfortunately not. Once a contract is set in stone, a time lock does not prevent the migrator function from being called on. It just makes it more delayed if the developers wanted to steal all funds. For example, if the time lock was set for 6 hours, the developers could still take your funds within 6 hours if they wanted to, basically going to bed and waking up with your funds going to zero. So in summary, here at RugDoc, we highly recommend to stay away from all yield farms with migrator codes, even if they have flashy graphics or nice artwork. If you want to be sure about a yield farm, or if you want to ask any other questions, or even to get a yield farm reviewed yourself, please head on to our amazing community via our Telegram group if you haven't already, or head on over to our comprehensive list of farms and check out if your farm is on our list. As always guys, stay safe in the DeFi space and have an amazing day.